Billionaire Mike Novogratz changing his position to be more bullish on crypto again. A very good article on the comparison between Bitcoin and gold. We'll look at what it has to say in regards to the price of Bitcoin if it mimics what happened with gold. Iran is preparing to make their own cryptocurrency to dodge US sanctions. And Bitcoin holding its gains above 8,000. If this continues, we might be able to finally say we're headed towards a bull market. We'll talk about where I think those numbers are before we can get too excited about it. So another day of Bitcoin holding above 8,000 US dollars, looking good. In my opinion, probably the best case scenario is if we continue just holding above 8,000 for a little bit. You can see historically on uptrends that even during those uptrends, we have many days, actually most of the days are spent just trading sideways before continuing on upward trends. So there are a lot of reasons for this. I mean, one of the reasons that I think is the biggest is it just gives the market time to kind of even out. The last thing you want to see is Bitcoin shooting from $6,000 or $8,000 to $20,000 in 2 days. So as long as we're staying above 6,000, let alone 8,000, I'm still feeling pretty good about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. If we do dip below 6,000, I think that's when the panic would set in. I have it marked on my screen here, basically this little box. If we jump over to the entire global market cap, still holding right around 300 billion. We could see this for a few more days. Optimally, that's probably what would be the best case if we just kind of chill here for a little bit. In the meantime, we might see other coins, maybe even smaller coins outside of the top 100, getting massive gains like we usually see. Again, VeChain is one I talked about very briefly a few days ago, and that one's currently up 33%. Overall, though, not a bad day in the market. So Bitcoin billionaire Mike Novogratz kind of went back on his prediction earlier this year. He was very bullish, but he's going back to being bullish now, saying that the market cap of crypto as a whole will exceed 800 billion in the next 12 months. In the past, it was by the end of 2018, so he's kind of lengthening his prediction here, but his predictions, again, are a little bit more conservative than some people that we see in the space. And this is just my thought on that. I think the next time that we see 800 billion, I don't necessarily think that a lot of the market dominance will be on a lot of smaller speculative coins. And in particular, I think as time goes on, I think coins that are already in the top 50 in particular, coins that are already more established, I think more and more of the market dominance is going to go into those coins and less into speculative coins. As the field gets more legitimate and projects gain more partnerships, gain more exposure, gain more use, yeah, again, I do think more of that money is going into the useful projects, which is good because coins that I do like in the top 10, the top 30 even, will start gaining their own market caps without the global market cap really having to increase very much because money in the crypto space will be redirected, hopefully, into projects that deserve those valuations. So Mike Novogratz is quoted here as saying that he believes that the market has bottomed. Novogratz outlined his predictions for the future of the crypto market at South Korea's recent Beyond Blocks conference in an interview with CNBC Africa's Crypto Trader, anticipating a market growth acceleration from the establishment of strong custodial services such as Coinbase Custody that was announced not too long ago. He's quoted here as saying, "I think we've pretty much bottomed. I'm not positive that we've bottomed, but it feels like we have. I do think we're really building a nice bottom for the nice move up. I think the next move up is going to need custody from a trusted source, which is being implemented, so that's good. It's going to need a little more regulatory clarity. We won't take $10,000 without those two things because that's what brings the institutional investors in." And I guess just a fair warning, it's always possible we have not bottomed, so always keep that in mind. I don't want to get too hyped up on this channel, and I don't think I do. And he makes a good point here about institutional investors entering the market and what needs to happen before that. It's just about the space really growing and the technology growing. He's quoted here saying the blockchains themselves are getting built and they're getting more industrial. They're not there yet, but mostly it's the architecture around what institutional investors need. They need custody with a name that they can trust. The idea of custody is to separate. So it's good to see this information out there. I totally agree with it, and it's what I've been hearing for a bit now, so it's cool that more and more people are coming out and kind of on the same page in terms of that. I think when there's a lot of agreement in the space about certain things like this, it can help push things further a little bit faster. So this is a very long article. I'm going to post this, of course, in the description if you want to read through the whole thing. I'm not going to cover the whole thing in this video, so I would recommend checking it out. It was published by Tom Alford on totalcrypto.io. We can just scroll through real quick and I'll give you an idea of how long the article is. One of the better looking articles actually I've seen in crypto for a while. So you can see it's quite a long article. So it goes in here. So I recommend checking this out first. It's just what is an ETF. That's pretty important. I do like this little tidbit here said that a report made by the consulting firm Capgemini revealed 29% of millionaires had expressed a high interest in cryptocurrency investment, and almost 27% of millionaires surveyed reporting having a general interest in digital assets. And just really quickly, ETFs are ideal for this sort of investor. Not opening a general Coinbase account, that's not how they would get in. Essentially, an ETF could really be used as a way for that type of money to get invested safely. This section here covers the similarities between Bitcoin and gold. The 4 points it makes are scarcity, it being universally recognized, the value increases in times of economic crisis, and both operate outside of the banking system. So the ETF for gold kickstarted the biggest bull run in gold's history. The price rose from around $300 per ounce to a high of around $2,000 per ounce, which is a 478% increase. This is gold. Crypto is known for much more extreme valuation increases and much more volatility. So I can only imagine what could happen to the price if a Bitcoin ETF was approved. If an ETF for gold did this to the price, I really think it's beyond anyone to really guess just how high Bitcoin's price could go and just how much it could affect the entire market. A lot of people comment asking like what will happen to Litecoin if Bitcoin's ETF will be approved. For one thing, it makes it more likely that in the future a Litecoin ETF could be approved as well. But I do think immediately after a Bitcoin ETF would be approved, it would benefit coins such as Litecoin and a lot of other coins in the space. It would drive legitimization, I think. It would drive interest. And when Bitcoin goes up, historically everything else does as well. So I would not be surprised to see other coins shoot up in value alongside with Bitcoin. I would actually be shocked if that did not happen, and I really do not think that every other coin would stay at their current prices and Bitcoin would flourish. I really do think the entire market would be driven up with it. This section here covers the market speed about Bitcoin markets moving much, much faster than gold. Basically, bear markets could be shorter for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and they have been historically. So I like this section here a lot. It's called Crypto Experts, What Price Do They Think Bitcoin Can Hit in 2018 if a Bitcoin ETF would be approved? And so we've talked about Arthur Hayes saying 50K. We even have Nicholas Merton from Data Dash actually on this. This is pretty interesting to see this. He as well is predicting 50K. John McAfee says 30K, which seems low for him. Thomas Lee saying 25K. Then it has some charts of benefits, millionaires percentage-wise that are interested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, had this thought I think is interesting. The world ultimately will have a single currency. The internet will have a single currency, and he personally believes that it will be Bitcoin. This might fit along with that idea that people think Litecoin will be the silver to that, and Digibyte or other cryptocurrencies could be a copper or something else in relation to that. There's also comparisons of like quarters, dimes, nickels, and everything to Bitcoin's quarter or dollar. So I find that really interesting. I also like this section here. It says Nicholas Merton, Data Dash, occupation, runs the #1 crypto YouTube channel with 310,000 subscribers. I do think Nick is very reliable, and I agree with much of what he says. I just think it's hilarious this article lists him here. And one of the last segments of this article is that the Bitcoin market still has a lot of room to grow. Again, I'm not going to read through all this, but this article is really well organized, and it has a lot of good information, so I definitely would recommend everyone checking this out. Link in description. And then, I don't necessarily know if this is a good thing. Iran is preparing ground for national cryptocurrency to dodge US sanctions. Essentially, they're interested in looking into a state cryptocurrency and blockchain technology as a whole to try to circumvent sanctions. So I don't really know how I feel about that. Leave a comment below. And yeah, Bitcoin's still up over 45% in dominance. This is still a good sign in my opinion. The fact it's still holding here, an excellent sign. We want to see this continue, even if it does not move up, as long as it can hold the resistances and supports that it has broken. And yeah, the article just kind of goes into it a little bit that a month ago it was all gloom and doom in the Bitcoin market as the cryptocurrency had created back-to-back long-term bearish chart patterns through May, June, even the beginning of July. But it seems to have bottomed around 5,700 to 6,000. We won't know until we break more key resistances, in my opinion. Most likely, I think breaking above 10,000 and holding there, maybe even reaching all the way to 12 and 13,000 would be extremely bullish. And at that point, I could say that this is pretty confidently going to continue to head upwards from here. But the fact that it did break above 8,000 so quickly is a very good sign. And it's holding there too, so we just want to see that continue.